Forget everything you know about war. Forget having grizzled, battle-tested generals and mysterious defense contractors. That was the old era, because now, the tech giants, the same companies that run your social feeds, aren't just building the weapons of tomorrow, they're literally putting on the uniform. In June of 2025, executives from Meta, OpenAI, and Palantir were sworn in as Army Reserve officers. Seriously, Meta's Chief Technology Officer Andrew Bosworth, the guy who helped transform Facebook into a disaster of misinformation, is now a lieutenant colonel, alongside Palantir's CTO Shyam Sankar and OpenAI executives Kevin Weil and Bob McGrew. They're all part of the Army's inaugural Detachment 201 program, supposedly aimed at making the force leaner, smarter, and more lethal. That's just what we needed, isn't it? A future where the same tech bros who innovate by moving fast and breaking things will now also decide who gets drone strike next.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, this isn't some patriotic awakening in Silicon Valley. It's just economics and corruption, and this is just the beginning. Virtually all major tech companies, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and others, are now adapting their mass surveillance clouds and precision targeting algorithms for military use. It really was only a matter of time before someone at the Pentagon realized that if you can target ads with scary accuracy, why not target enemies too? Heck, it pays a whole lot more. The money being thrown around for military contracts is absolutely insane. The US military budget hit $850 billion for 2025, with cybersecurity alone commanding tens of billions. Global military spending is approaching $3 trillion, especially now that the NATO alliance agreed to increase defense spending from 2 to 5% of GDP by 2035. All this spending has got tech giants bending over backwards to get their piece of the action. The same companies that deliver your packages and run your work email are now also modernizing battlefield communications and handling the military's most classified information. But why stop at just cybersecurity when there's so much more money to be made? Some of these tech giants are diving headfirst into hardware too. Everything from augmented reality combat headsets to just straight up making weapons.
What about me?
You and me are gonna build a bomb.
We're gonna build a bomb.
One of the fastest growing startups in Silicon Valley isn't a new app or LLM. It's Anduril, a company that builds autonomous drone weapons and battlefield surveillance systems. Anduril's founder, Palmer Luckey, previously created Oculus VR, which he sold to Facebook for $2 billion in 2014. A decade later, Luckey and Zuckerberg are teaming up again, this time to build AR headsets for soldiers. Given the spectacular metaverse flop with consumers, Zuck apparently found a new customer base that's willing to buy his headsets. This time, it's someone that's always willing to overpay: the US military. It seems almost every tech company, both big and small, can no longer resist the temptation of a big juicy military contract. Spotify CEO Daniel Ek is now chairman of an AI military defense company because apparently, curating workout playlists qualifies you to curate lists of insurgents to target abroad. And Boston Dynamics, the company behind those viral dancing robot dogs, are now designed to kill. Sure, a four-legged robo-dog doing backflips is cool, but strap a machine gun to it and suddenly it becomes ridiculously profitable. The reality is that defense is the ultimate stable, profitable, and recession-proof market. The military doesn't care about brand image or cancel culture. They don't ask for refunds, and they pay up front. They don't even bother to price check. They are literally the perfect customer. As many tech companies begin to lose their edge in consumer markets, they become desperate for a new growth engine. They've just discovered that war scales beautifully.
For your consideration, the Jericho.
I'll be throwing one of these in with every purchase of 500 million or more. It's a piece.
The relationship between Silicon Valley and the military isn't new. The Pentagon's research arm, DARPA, actually helped birth the internet, GPS, and even Siri. military research has been flowing into civilian applications for decades. The Pentagon develops the technology, then companies later commercialize it for everyday use. But the reverse flow barely existed until recently. For years, when tech companies tried collaborating with the military, they faced massive backlash. Thousands of Google employees protested the company's involvement in Project Maven, a program using AI to improve drone strike targeting accuracy. Google's motto was literally "Don't be evil," and employees figured that drone striking hospitals might get them on the naughty list. That backlash actually worked. Google didn't renew the Maven contract, and they established AI principles restricting military applications. Other major tech companies also maintained policies against weapons development too, but that resistance lasted only as long as AI remained affordable, which wasn't long at all. Training and running large language models now cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Consumer revenue alone can't cover those bills. For many companies, working with the military isn't just an opportunity anymore, it's essential for survival. With rising AI costs, increased global conflicts, and shifts in the political landscape, there's been a dramatic change in tech's acceptance of defense contracts. The Midas Project, a nonprofit tracking policy changes at major AI companies, has documented about 30 significant modifications to ethical guidelines since 2023, with many reversing their military stances. Oh, and Google, they quietly deleted their famous motto, "Don't be evil," from their code of conduct. Convenient, isn't it? When evil becomes profitable, morals have to go.
It's war. It's the business we're in.
Do you remember what you sold it to me as when you hired me? Defense.
And that's still partially true. But war is good business.
In this new big tech military era, these companies often try to downplay their involvement by claiming their defense contracts are purely data services. But let's not kid ourselves, it's data that determines where bombs get dropped and who gets killed. The rising star of weaponizing data has been Palantir, a company most people have never heard of until it suddenly became one of the most valuable companies in the world. What exactly do they do? Honestly, nobody's quite sure. At its core, Palantir ingests massive amounts of data and sells predictive analytics software. Their biggest customer? You guessed it, the US military. Rumor has it that they were instrumental in tracking down Osama bin Laden. Whether that's true or not, the point still stands. War is fundamentally shifting. It's data that wins wars now, not boots on the ground. Facebook and TikTok can influence an election more effectively than funding a coup ever could. Manipulating information and controlling narratives, that's the new front line. Big tech can argue that their services will mean fewer soldiers die, resulting in a cleaner, more efficient war. Yet their wars still have victims, and innocent lives will still be caught in the crossfire. A clean war is still war. But it is true that the old symbols of military dominance, tanks, gunships, heavily armored convoys, are becoming expensive liabilities. In the era of autonomous drones, a multi-billion-dollar tank can be taken out by a cheap quadcopter packed with explosives. Large, slow-moving assets are easy to spot, easy to track, and increasingly easy to destroy. War is becoming asymmetric, favoring fast, networked, AI-driven systems over brute force. You don't need to control the skies anymore, you just need to control the cloud. It's no longer about how many weapons you have, but how smart your weapons are.
Our product is used on occasion to kill people.
This is drone targeting, or what is this?
Targeting of all kinds. If you're looking for a terrorist in the world now, you're probably using our government product, and you're probably doing the operation that actually takes out the person in another product we built.
Even if you couldn't care less about the wars being fought overseas, the militarization of big tech isn't staying overseas. Surveillance technology designed for battlefields abroad inevitably finds new applications at home, at borders, in airports, in our everyday lives. Facial recognition, movement tracking, data aggregation. What starts as counterterrorism ends up as neighborhood monitoring. You don't need to believe in conspiracies, just follow the contracts. These tools of war are becoming the tools of domestic control. Meanwhile, the public remains distracted. We're busy consuming Instagram Reels and turning ourselves into anime characters with ChatGPT, all while the companies behind those platforms quietly become defense contractors. The same venture capitalists who once funded meal delivery apps are now funding kamikaze drones. Silicon Valley's insatiable obsession with growth has finally allowed war profiteering to be acceptable. And these companies aren't just creating new products, they're creating new ideologies. The very language of war is being rewritten in Silicon Valley speak. Precision targeting, autonomous response, mission success analytics. War is no longer the visceral, horrifying reality we imagine. It's just another set of metrics to optimize. The biggest concern is how this will rewire incentives. When companies profit more during times of conflict, peace becomes undesirable. If a drone startup only grows during deployments, if surveillance firms thrive during civil unrest, then the system stops rewarding stability in favor of escalation instead. And that's where things get genuinely dangerous. The line between tech executive and military officer has completely blurred. You can't tell who's running the war and who's selling the weapons. Turns out, it's now the same people.
What's this?
What is that?
Let Blaine die.
Oh, shit. We write in code. This is compression.
Strength. Blaine's last moment is realizing face is gone. Weaknesses. Blaine dies super fast.
Yeah, you really shouldn't be looking at that. That's all proprietary.
The public debate is way behind. Most people don't know what Anduril does, what Palantir is capable of, or how deeply embedded big tech has become in the military-industrial complex. We're preoccupied, living in a distracted world built by the same companies that now build tools to destroy other worlds. It was inevitable for big tech to militarize. The money is just too good to pass up, and we've all become so accustomed to optimization culture that we don't question what's being optimized anymore. We worried AI would take our jobs, and maybe it will, but if it takes a soldier's job, that might feel like progress. Until you realize what we're really outsourcing isn't labor, it's morality. When decisions about who lives and dies gets made by algorithms, we're not just automating warfare, we're sanitizing it. We're pretending it's not violence if it happens through a user interface. But death by drone is still death. A clean kill is still a kill. When war starts looking like tech, we start thinking about it like tech. Just another feature, just another update. This isn't about whether AI can make war more efficient. It already has. The question is, who benefits from that efficiency? Who decides how it's used? And who's accountable when it goes wrong? The tech giants in Silicon Valley always promised that they would one day change the world. We assumed they meant through creation and innovation. Turns out, they might do it through destruction instead.